Hello everybody. Gun control has always been a hot topic in America, and Democrats for a while have been calling for an assault weapons ban to help with that. The calls for an assault weapon ban comes and goes, but tends to be reignited every time that there is a mass shooting. Most recently, the one at Christtree Mosque in New Zealand has Democrats talking about an assault weapons ban again. But the question is, would an assault weapons ban have any effect on the gun violence that we see here in the United States? Well, the short answer is no! But let's go ahead and take a look at the long answer. So, would an assault weapons ban have an effect on the gun homicides in the United States? First off, we have to ask ourselves, what is an assault weapon? In the firearm community, there is no such thing as an assault weapon. That is not a category, I should say. Every weapon is an assault weapon. It's either designed to shoot people, animals, etc. But there is no defined category of what is an assault rifle. So we have to look, or an assault weapon, I should say. So we have to look at the specific bills, the specific bans. If you look at some bans, they ban firearms based off of cosmetic characteristics, such as forearm grips, pistol grips, collapsible stocks, Picatinny rails, things like that. And that would have absolutely no effect, because that would ban a weapon like the Armalite Rifle 15 or AR-15, but it would not ban the Ruger Mini 14, which is in essence the same gun. They have the same caliber, the same rate of fire, the same magazine capacity, but it just doesn't look scary, as the traditional saying goes. So that definitely would not have an effect. Some bans ban rifles based off of certain models, so it will list off the AR-15, etc. I don't think it covers all semi-automatic rifles, so for the most part that still won't have an effect. But let's just say they ban all semi-automatic rifles, so you're only left with bolt action, internal magazine type of rifles, more traditionally the hunting rifle type. Or let's even go a step further. Let's say they ban all rifles outright, which to be fair they will never do, but let's just for the sake of argument say they ban all rifles. Will that make a difference? And the answer is still no. Why is that? Well, if you look at a breakdown of firearm homicides in the United States, rifles are used in just under 4% of firearm homicides. So taking that out of the equation is not going to have a significant effect. Now you could be saying, well, that's 4% of people that we would have back. Not necessarily. If someone was bent on murdering someone with a weapon and they don't happen to have a rifle, they're going to get a handgun or shotgun, more likely a handgun, but they're just going to use a different weapon. So it's not going to have an effect. So it's not going to have a real life effect. So that's one reason why we shouldn't do it. And another reason why we shouldn't do it is it's terrible politically. Democrats always say, hey, we're not looking for your guns. We don't want to take your guns. We just want to curb gun violence. We don't want to take your guns. We don't want to take your guns. We don't want to take your guns. Well, what happens when you propose an assault weapons ban? You want to take their guns. You're feeding straight into the narrative that you're gun grabbers. So not only would this legislation not prevent anything, it also is bad for you politically. Some people will say, oh, well, assault weapons are used in larger amounts or larger number of times in mass shootings. And I do believe that is accurate. However, once again, when we're looking at these mass shootings, we're talking about people shooting masses of unarmed people. So unfortunately, whether they're shooting them with a rifle or shooting with a handgun, with a shotgun, you're going to have high casualties anytime you have an armed person shooting at an unarmed person. So that is irrelevant as well. So they might be using rifles at this time. If you ban rifles, they're going to switch over to handguns. And guess what? They're concealable. You can have multiple handguns on you, multiple magazines. You're going to have the same problems. So an assault weapons ban is not the way to go. It won't have an actual effect on the homicide rate, and it's also just terrible politically.